Indiana Jones. It's a podcast about Indiana Jones. Every movie, 1 minute at a time. Indiana Jones Minute.
Welcome back to the Indiana Jones Minute. This is the podcast where we march our way through Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, one Imperial general at a time. I like to say that because I'm also an Imperial general, General Mummert.
How do you follow that up? I'm just some dude. I'm Tom Taylor.
Yeah. I live in the trash compactor. I'm Jerry Porter, whatever. It doesn't matter.
But what does matter is we are joined today by one of the two men who started us on this strange path we're on today. And he's joining us from a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Welcome back, Alex Robinson from the Star Wars Minute.
Greetings, nerds. Glad to be back.
Yay! Woo!
We're all nerds here.
And I think it's incredibly fitting that you're here for these minutes, Alex, because we did a live show this past summer in Chicago where we talked a lot about the fever dream that Han Solo has while he's frozen in carbonite. Mm-hmm. And I think these 3 minutes will prove beyond any shadow of a doubt that these are indeed movies that take place in Han Solo's fever dream.
Are there still doubters?
There are, surprisingly. Well, there's one, even though she claimed not to be at Chicago, and that would be Professor Christy Porter.
She may have come around. Maybe she's coming around. We'll see.
Yeah.
She's the last holdout.
She waffles.
Yeah.
Yeah. But today we're going to be talking about minute 18, and minute 18 begins with Indy enjoying a brief respite from his teaching duties and ends with him identifying a large tablet in Walter Donovan's penthouse as being sandstone.
Now, I think that these 3 guys who get out of the car, they're in Dr. Jones's A402 seminar. And, like everybody else, they're furious because they have yet to get back their term papers. But the difference is they're grad students. So they're not falling for any of this classic Dr. Jones sneak out of the window crap. And you can tell they're grad students because now they have a car at school.
Right. They got a parking spot.
But exactly. But they're still traveling all together.
Well, they're on their way to lunch. They can leave campus for lunch when they're grad students.
Yeah.
Exactly. Classic grad students. Like one guy's got a car. It's better than the than the undergrads.
Yeah. Well, were they waiting for him to come out the window? Like, were they like, well, we're not going to wait by the door. Right. We're going to wait by the back window.
No, that's the whole
point.
They know. They're like, oh, we did this. This is what he does this to the underclassmen all the time. But if we really want to get our grades in for the, MCAT or whatever it is we're taking. So, and you can also tell, they're all wearing hats. They're bedecked in hats. So they're probably thinking about post-graduation interviews.
Yeah. They've traded in their banners and their sweaters and stuff and pom-poms. Yeah.
Right. Chewing gum.
Well, and we do have, we've talked about, we've had those little surprises that keep showing up in the script. Like, in the script at the beginning, it was a surprise that they're not actually cavalry officers, but they're Cub Scouts. Mm-hmm. And then we get the surprise that it's not Indiana Jones looting the cave, but it's actually Fedora. And again, in the script, yeah. And again, in the script, this is another fake out. It says 3 men step out of the sedan. Everything about them bespeaks G-Man. And again, we get this, Indy's about to be kidnapped by the government or by mobsters. Or
I was wondering, does Indy think that this is, the provost of Marshall College? And like they finally caught up with him here?
Maybe.
Or, does he think it's the pesky top men?
Who knows? I don't know. I like the it's all hats in this last shot before we get to Donovan's place. It's like all just silhouettes of hat brims, and Indy's kind of got that look from one to the other, and then it kind of reminds me of the we got that awesome silhouetted shot of in Cairo back in Raiders. Remember Raiders? God, that was a good movie. It was so good. And they're in Cairo.
It was so good.
And like there were a couple of shots of like G-men, German G-men dressed exactly like this, and you just see his silhouette. He kind of nods to the guys, and you see he's like acting with the brim of his hat. That's kind of what's happening here.
Well, and these grad students are clearly expecting Indy to bolt.
Yeah, they got him cornered.
Well, yeah, because the one guy stands right
Yeah.
behind him. Like he's like, you're not going anywhere.
It's very menacing.
Yeah.
Very menacing. But what's interesting, the music doesn't really provide much direction here. Like it's kind of a somber overcoat mischief, but it's not really like it doesn't have a strong ominousness to it, like dun 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 dun.
Right.
It doesn't do one of those.
Well, they got to pace themselves. They got a whole nother 2 hours
right.
to go.
Not every second.
Your threats to Misa, guys.
Not every second has to be exciting.
That's why this movie sucks. I want every second, every minute.
People are going to get French horn fatigue.
Well, it is kind of a perfect henchman moment. Maybe can we get like a perfect henchman bell?
It's curtains for you, Rocky. Curtains.
Remember Raiders? We talked about perfect henchmen.
Yeah.
We didn't have too much of an opportunity in Temple of
Yeah.
Doom to talk about perfect henchmen, but they're back
Right.
here. They're back. This is like a perfect. They corral Indy beautifully. He doesn't even attempt to get
Right.
away.
Gosh, can I say? I mean, we introduced Alex as co-host of Star Wars Minute, but he's also co-host of Godfather Minute. And it's just occurring to me that this is a very Godfather-looking moment with all these hats and
Yeah, that's true. I guess the first Godfather movie starts in 1945 or 46. So I guess, what year does this one? 38?
Yeah,
38.
38, okay.
But they're dressed like it's 1946.
right.
Like all the fedoras are. It's definitely a 40s look.
Like Indy is sort of the Abe Vigoda at the end of Godfather here, kind of surrounding him and guiding him into a different car.
I remember someone talking about how, as time goes on, and we're like, that seems more like a 40s outfit than a 30s outfit. But as time goes on, like the distinction blurs between time
Yeah.
periods. Because someone was talking about that movie, The Sting, which I guess takes place in 1920 or something.
Yeah, it's in the 20s.
And it's the music for it is all ragtime music, which was popular like in 1900.
Right.
Yeah.
But to us, it's just old timey music. It's just
Yeah.
all like
Well, it still existed when the movie took place. So,
they were all like a retro guys.
yeah, it's retro for the time.
So like pretty soon we're gonna have movies where like FDR is listening to like the Beatles
Yeah.
and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
lovable mop tops. It's all old timey music. No difference.
Cowboys riding woolly mammoths. It's all going to be crazy.
I noticed this whole scene has two colors. It's got like a drab, deathly brown black, and then this verdant, blooming, eternal life green. And I'm wondering if that's foreshadowing.
Connecticut.
Setting us up.
Sunny Connecticut.
That's right. With the New Haven as the death part. No, but that's sort of, a foreshadowing of, I don't know, maybe a grail?
Well, we will get into at some point one of the candidates in the world today for being the actual Grail is an Emerald Grail in Geneva. So maybe there's more there than you think, Jer.
Yeah, let's see. I love impressing Pete. Yeah, but you can never tell when you do, though, because he's so kind anyway.
Right. You're wrong, Jerry. That's a stupid thing to say.
Yeah, that's a fake laugh right now.
Tom is wrong with the whole Connecticut. I mean, this
Yeah.
could be Connecticut. That's why they went to Barnett College.
I don't know what you're saying.
Emerald Grail.
I'm so
the whole movie
the
of
whole.
this.
I'm dizzy. I give up. I don't know.
Well, let's get out of Connecticut or New York or wherever they are and move into the penthouse, into General Veers' beautiful penthouse, which is one of my all-time favorite sets. Like, this is right up there with the Imam's house.
Are you going to say that this is St. Louis and not New York City?
Okay, so let's accept this is New York City. Do you guys, can you imagine Indiana Jones in New York City? Because I can't. Washington, D.C., fine. Northampton, Massachusetts, or whatever wherever you want to say, like Berkeley or Stanford, whatever, Davis, fine. But for some reason, like, I don't see him as a New York City guy.
Visitor.
Is it just because we haven't seen him there?
It's like, it might be.
Like, I don't see him in
might
Moscow.
be.
I'm picturing him I picture him being like Jack Lemmon in New York City.
But is this like a is this an appropriate 1938 New York skyline here?
Yeah, I think it's actually pretty good.
We don't see any like landmarks, do we? Out the window, it's mostly just apartment buildings and things.
Yeah.
It's very it's a very Hitchcocky kind of set.
Yeah, it looks a lot like the set from Rope or something.
I was gonna say Rope.
Yeah.
You and me, Pete. That was
Rope
good.
Brothers.
I have a comment here, and I'm reading this off my note. Of all the rooms in the Indiana Jones universe, this would be the one you would like to live in, Pete.
You got that right. Yeah. But this room is also, this is going to be my grand thesis. This is the capstone to my thesis about this being the fever dream. Because we're in a white room that looks a lot like Hoth, with this beautiful Art Deco chandelier that's coming down from the ceiling, kind of like the ice coming down from the Wampa Cave. And then behind Indy on the wall there's a guy on a horse, like kind of bundled up against the cold, and it's sort of reminiscent of either Han or Luke on a tauntaun. But the kicker is that General Veers comes out, and if you listen really carefully to the music that's playing in the other room, it's a lounge version of the Imperial March.
No.
Are you dead serious?
I'm dead serious. Yeah. You can hear it sort of in this minute. You can really hear it when his wife comes out in a couple minutes.
Oh my God.
Wait. Do you mean like it sounds like it, or it?
No,
is?
it actually it is. It literally is a lounge version of the Imperial March.
Oh my gosh.
That's amazing.
Everybody stop your phones or whatever.
Yeah.
Go to minute whatever this is, 18.
It's more clear in minute 20 when his wife comes out, but you can also hear it here.
Is it like dun 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 da 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 dun dun?
It is a little bit. It's not quite as upbeat as that, but yeah, it's definitely.
Oh my God.
It's definitely clear.
So wait,
that's
does
incredible.
that mean the Imperial March is a thing in the Star Wars universe? Like Han Solo has heard the Imperial March.
Oh yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
Wow.
They must play it in the AT-AT when they're driving, kind of like they're playing in Apocalypse Now, Ride of the Valkyries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it's actually like the anthem of the Empire.
Oh yeah.
They must have some fanfare that plays and stuff, right? In the world and the universe.
You think like the AT-AT commander, like right before they go into battle, he's like, like fist pounding and punching his chest. He's like, yeah, like gearing himself
Salute
up
the
listening
flag.
to this.
Yeah.
As they slowly amble across. It's not exactly like a quick.
Oh my God, that's insane.
Yeah, the first two, I'll be honest, I was like, Pete's kind of out of his mind.
It's just cute when he does this.
Yeah, it's cute.
I was saving it for the knockout right cross.
Yeah, well, it worked. It worked.
Wow.
Everybody's on the canvas.
Man, oh man.
Does Indy have any idea where he is?
No, I guess not. I mean, I guess this seems like this is the big reveal, like when Donovan comes in.
Well, I mean, like,
and,
is there like a door to the right that Indy entered through that wasn't?
Oh.
You know what I mean? Like, does he know where he is? Or do you like?
Maybe
did Donovan?
Maybe they brought him in before the party
He's
started.
been sitting in there for 3
and then there weren't
hours.
any guests or anything, and he's been in there for 7 or 8 hours.
See, I think like Donovan. I get it. In a way, I guess he had to kidnap Indy because you can't call him at his office.
Yeah.
He doesn't
he's
get
never there.
back to you. I mean, his secretary had a whole Dr. Jones, here are all your messages. I'm sure like 7 of them were Donovan.
Yeah, the hurdy-gurdy man keeps calling.
Yeah.
Something about a grail. And, yeah.
Well, so you think this is? Do you think this is, in the legal sense of the word, a kidnapping? Like, what was the ride down like with those guys? Were they like, hey, where are we going? And they're just like, shut up, or they're like, oh, we can't tell you, or
Yeah.
That's an excellent question. Yeah, were they like, oh, we're going to Walter Donovan's house. He wants to talk to you.
oh, there's something about the
Oh,
grid.
there's a huge party. Yeah.
It seems very. There are a lot of James Bond scenes where he gets collected by a group of bad guys and they take him someplace.
Uh-huh.
And I imagine it like that. Like one of them had like a. But it was like they were silent but
Deadly.
but stoic but friendly or something.
Maybe they put like a bag over his head when they brought him into Donovan's, like, or a blindfold or something, so that he would know exactly where he was, just for the surprise.
You know what? I think Donovan is just another graduate student, And this is the only way he can actually get his grade. He has to kidnap Indy, and I bet you that the party that's going on is his graduation.
Yeah, it's going to be official in about 15 minutes, I swear.
He's going to come out, and he's going to say, I got a B+.
Right, that counts.
Yeah, it counts. That's what I think this whole thing is. It's Donovan's graduation party. That's what's going on. And they just literally, he couldn't get his grade from last semester from Indy. That's all you can do is you have to kidnap the guy.
Well, I've got a question because Indy seems pretty miffed that he's here. Like when Donovan comes out and says who he is, Indy's like, I know who you are. But what do you think? Where was Indy going to go when he escaped from his students? Like, was he going to go to Coney Island and ride some rides for the day? Or what was he going to do that he's upset?
I was wondering that last time. I don't know. I just wanted to stretch his legs.
If you watch that minute, he sits down at his desk and he's in like a complete crisis.
So maybe he's going to see his shrink. He's like, okay, I gotta go. Yeah.
I don't know. Well, actually, we're too close to this, Pete and Tom. So let me ask Alex. Does Indy have a shrink?
No. It's all mumbo jumbo nonsense or something.
Yeah.
He's got a bullwhip.
Yeah. Well, clearly he has issues. He has
right.
issues with his father. He carries around this long phallus that he beats everyone with. So, like,
a long, flaccid phallus.
I'm sure in the Indiana Jones Chronicles he met Sigmund Freud or something, and they did some joke about that.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And he killed him.
He murdered his father.
Maybe that's why he's going for the fertility idol. He has,
maybe.
Yeah, he has those kind of issues. You know what I mean?
It was shortly after that
Maybe.
Mutt was conceived.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Maybe that's proof that it's not his son.
Oh, God. See, look how you ask a simple question, and it's like...
All roads lead to Mutt.
Yeah.
Thanks, Alex. I have one other possible explanation of why Indy is brought here this way and Donovan introduces himself in this weird way.
Okay.
He felt surprise was wiser.
Oh.
Sorry.
Wrong general.
I actually have a great, we were talking about hats a second ago. I have a great question and I'm ready to be annoyed by the answer. Indy's wearing a hat right now and he's wearing a hat on his way out of school. Is this the Indiana Jones hat? Is this the fedora that he normally wears as Indiana Jones?
He must have multiples.
Oh. It's the brown one. It's not the gray one he wore on the plane and the.
That's
the
the thing.
Clipper.
That's what's tripping me up.
So it is kind of like the Indiana Jones hat.
Yeah.
So he's kind of like he's mixing his uniform here. Or like
Yeah,
his costume.
but that makes sense because he escapes from his office.
Yeah. So he needed at least
Yeah.
part of the superhero costume to get out of the window.
Right.
Exactly.
If he'd used the front door, he would have put the gray hat on.
That's right. And we talk about where's he going to go. You're like, I mean, maybe that's, for all we know, maybe that's how Raiders started. You know, and he's like, when he gets anxious and he feels out of place in his office classroom, he's like, oh, I got to get the hell out of here. And then he's like,
throughout the entire opening of Raiders, the whole Chachapoyan temple, there's kids banging on his office door, begging for their grade because he just slipped out.
Exactly. Maybe that's what he's doing here. That's how the adventures begin.
Yeah.
He's also wearing his hat inside, and he doesn't take it off even when Donovan first walks in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
kind
He
of-
finally does when he introduces himself.
Yeah.
But that's
It's a little gauche for 1938.
He's a slob.
Yeah.
If you
And
guys,
he's a slob.
So if you guys notice, like right before Donovan comes in, like Indy turns around and he has this smirk on his face, and I don't know if that's at that moment he realizes that he's at Donovan's.
I think it's that moment he pocketed something from the shelf.
It belongs in a museum.
This belongs in the museum of
That's
my
what he
pocket.
tells everyone. He's like, well, he tells himself, yeah, this probably belongs in a museum.
Yeah. It's way too nice for one just random guy to have.
That the next question I have then is, so when Indy says, I know who you are, Mr. Donovan, your contributions to the museum over the years have been extremely generous. Is he talking about Marshall College?
See, this is what drives me. It's funny that he just says the museum. Like,
Yeah.
for some reason, this time when he says the museum, I realize, like, boy, they never, ever say anything other than the museum. Like, even in Raiders. It's like,
Yeah.
like if you're, the Wikipedia stuff, like, it's only, useful if it supports what you're trying to say or something.
Right.
Like in any kind of science or religion, like you ignore everything unless it supports you. So like I hate all the Wikipedia, I hate all the extra, off-screen stuff. But they say like, Marcus works for like the National Museum in Washington. But then okay, that gets all muddy the further you read. Like, oh no, actually takes a janitor job at Barnett College to be close to Indy or something.
Oh,
but,
stop it.
Yeah, they're more specific about like an actual significant museum that people would want to have an Ark of the Covenant in. But yeah, like without it, you're left to be, I guess there's like an annex in the basement of Marshall College where they keep precious artifacts.
Well, are the contributions artifacts or are the contributions money to buy it, like for Indy to go on more looting trips?
I'm gonna say they're objects. Because this guy clearly,
I kind of feel that
clearly
too.
is
Yeah.
into it, and but maybe it's a combination.
Yeah.
Yeah. Various endowments.
Yeah. I do have to say, as somebody who used to sell rare books, the fact that he has all of his books leaning at an angle just drives me up a wall.
Oof.
Like he's absolutely destroying the spine on all of these old books.
And they're not in little plastic bags with the white backing.
Well, I don't mind if he doesn't do the plastic bags, but at least don't have him askew like that. He's just ruining all
That
of
is
them.
rough.
You can hear the teeth of several book collectors grinding as the
Yes.
scene
Yeah,
goes on.
Those are probably just his textbooks. Remember, he just graduated.
It's like,
That's true,
Probably
yeah.
the
it's like
biology
Econ
textbook.
101. And,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
that.
just in case Professor Jones quizzes him at the last second.
He's about to put them all in a paper bag and take them down to sell them at the used bookstore, like at the campus bookstore.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. He's got his yellow used stickers that he's going to put on the spines. That's why he doesn't care if they're doing all right.
There's a really weird little second here. It's second 49, and Donovan says, like yourself, Dr. Jones, I have a passion for antiquities. And Indy gives this really strange look where he kind of goes like, bogus. I steal them from...
I should just watch it.
Yeah,
That's really funny.
it's really weird. Like, he looks away like, no, you don't. Or, no, I don't.
Well, like Donovan
He's like,
walks away
Yeah.
out of his eye line after he says that, and he just stares into space for a second like,
It's really weird. I'm thinking he's like, I steal them for fortune and glory.
think, Indy, think.
Think, Indy.
I think he was trying to decide whether or not to say, yes, I met your wife earlier. Because he's got a passion for antiquities.
Yeah, back when she was in, back when she was 16.
Held his tongue.
Jeez.
That would have been especially rough because the wife in the movie is actually Julian Glover's wife in real life.
Oh, wow.
Oh, for real?
Wow.
Wow.
And General Veers' wife. Weird.
Yeah. You may start your landing. Target maximum firepower. I'm just going to say all of General Veers' lines as a lascivious creep.
It's a great podcast.
You know how to have fun. And then we see the stone for just 1 minute before they get into it. Like we don't really. I got nothing but questions about this stone tablet, but I'll save it for next time.
Is this just the tablecloth draped over the stone, or is this a special covering for the stone?
It's the Shroud of Turin.
Yeah,
Yeah, he just wrapped it up in the Shroud of Turin. Yeah, it came as a bonus. It's a twofer.
It's gonna get hot later, like mop his brow with it.
Yeah, whew.
Or he puts it up, he mops his face with it. When he pulls it off, the Jesus face is exactly imprinted over his face in the exact right place. Terrible. We should joke about that.
Of course not.
Yeah, it's a General Veers' face.
Yeah.
Well, anybody have anything else about minute 18?
Oh, no, I'm done. Wait a minute.
Whoa,
Oh, what? Huh?
Something's coming through over the wire.
hey.
Oh, my gosh.
Them was 1988 wires. This just in from Professor Christy Porter. Say, who here knew, Pete, don't answer, that the Tuxedo was named for New York's first planned residential neighborhood, Tuxedo Park. Founded in 1886, and this guy Donovan seems like a swell, but he's wearing a tux before 6 p.m. And unless it's the longest day of the year, I don't know.
Wait, how do you know it's before 6 p.m.?
Well, unless it's the longest day of the year.
Well could it just be an
Well, then
afternoon?
it's not.
Yeah, it is still very. You said yourself, it's very emerald green out, so probably it could be like 7:30.
Well, hey,
Christy.
Yeah. She had me a tuxedo, but then I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like everything else. You go on too long.
Maybe she's better at like reading the shadows, and she could say, "No, on that date, the sun would have been at this
Yeah.
angle." And tell the shadow in the background that it's not. And so we'll just assume she knows what she's talking about.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
generally does more than we do. So as long as it's not about the fever dream. But speaking of the fever dream, I first learned about the fever dream hearing you guys talk about it, Alex.
Oh, I am the co-host of a podcast called Star Wars Minute, which is just like your show, except we talk about the Star Wars movies. We are, as of this recording, we are about halfway through Revenge of the Sith, maybe a little less than halfway. So, yeah, that's kind of the same thing. I guess like all of you have been on the show, right? At this point. Or is this going to be uncomfortable?
I was on the actual show, and then we were all on the weekend show
Oh,
together.
okay. Yeah, so
Right.
that counts. Yeah. So, yeah, that's about it. And I also do a similar thing with my brother about a movie called The Godfather. And trying to think if there's any Godfather Indiana Jones universe crossovers. Can you think of any off the top of your head?
Oh. Gosh.
Can't think of any.
I want there to
I
be.
know.
Yeah.
I'm going to start looking for that.
Yeah.
Anyway, keep your eye open.
Doesn't Frank Pantangeli play the Grail Knight at the end?
That would be
No, I'm
awesome.
making that up.
It shows
That'd be
poorly.
fantastic.
His great gravelly New York voice.
They got me waiting in a cave. A cup of Christ cocktails. It's a terrible Frank Pantangeli. I'm sorry.
Usually you're great at that.
That was still fun.
If I'm getting over a cold, I can do a good Frank Pantangeli.
He's a tough one.
Well, yeah, definitely check Alex out on the Star Wars Minute, which is whose format we stole shamelessly from when we started this, and Godfather Minute, which is fantastic. I also really enjoy.
Oh, thank you.
And you can find out more about us if you go to IndianaJonesMinute.com, and we have a whole section about the fever dream of Han Solo and how this movie ties into Star Wars. And we even have a link if you want to find more about Alex and his podcast there. So check us out there. Check Alex out, the places mentioned, and then join us back here tomorrow for minute 19 of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade here on the Indiana Jones Minute.
Indiana Jones Minute.
Indiana Jones Minute. Am I doing that right?
Pretty much.
Calzone! I'm hungry. I'm hungry. I'm hungry.
That was why where did you get calzone?
Works.
I thought that was a Godfather reference.